These last 4 years fighting this conspiracy case have been extremely challenging, and yet I wouldn't change a single thing about any of it. I've learned so much.
Pull up. You are right on time. Go grab your popcorn, your kale chips, your snacks, your blunt, your wine, your tea, whatever you relax with, because baby, this will be an enjoyable ride. I am Empress Nandi. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this debacle with me. Awaken with Empress Nandi.
Ain't nobody will catch me on divine energy. Don't you think my shot's sexy? My chakras bling bling. Ain't nobody will catch me, my third eye clearly sees. And we are the wokest motherships upon the planet. The veil is falling, ain't no need to panic. My frequency's electromagnetic. Blessed to have the star seed genetics. We are the wokest motherships upon the planet. The veil is falling, ain't no need to panic. My frequency's electromagnetic. Blessed to have the star seed genetics. Ain't nobody will catch me on divine energy. Don't you think my shot's sexy? My chakras bling bling. Ain't nobody will catch me, my third eye clearly sees. And we are the wokest motherships upon the planet. The veil is falling, ain't no need to panic. My frequency's electromagnetic. Blessed to have the star seed genetics. We are the wokest motherships upon the planet. The veil is falling, ain't no.
Every moment was incredibly powerful and insightful. The verdict handed down on Monday was no shock to myself, my husband, or my legal team. We are prepared, and we were prepared for this challenge from the beginning. Prepared for the worst, as we said. We called bluff against a machine that wanted to bully me for not wavering from my personal beliefs. A machine that has corporate interests to protect prostitution, drug use, promiscuity, and to glorify the violence that wreaks havoc on our society and in our neighborhoods. We called bluff against a machine that wanted to bully me for not wavering from my personal beliefs. A machine that has corporate interests to protect prostitution, drug use, promiscuity, and to glorify the violence that wreaks havoc on our society and in our neighborhoods. And to glorify it's sold to our children as the it factor. This machine, this thing, secured an extremely prejudicial verdict against myself and my company solely off of sympathy and payola. Asking me to redact the real reason as to why I was reporting on the issues at hand, and succeeded in making me out to be an angry and malicious woman. This is a real business. I am a wife of 17 years, a mother to a beautiful 15-year-old girl who's an honors student, and a 2-year-old son. My platform creates news and sheds light on the issues going on in our society.
I've been creating the news. Hold up, wait a minute. Creating the news. The news creates itself. You're just supposed to be reporting the news, journalist. I cannot believe this lady. That's why you lost the case, because you actually were reporting creating fake news.
My First Amendment right poses a threat to the machine's sole intention to mislead the public with caricatures built on violence, selling sex, and images of a denounced stereotype. Look at Chicago and LA and various other cities that can't even sit in their own living room and braid their kids' hair without worrying about bullets flying through and killing their children. My First Amendment right was painted to the public and courts as a bully, vile, and malicious towards a machine that glorifies a lifestyle meant to serve as modern-day genocide on our people. A machine that clearly influences our children on how to kill, sell their bodies, and more. You can't bully someone or something that takes pride in painting our children and teaching our children to be degenerates. And if you are a public figure that pushes this image and this lifestyle for likes and views and a way to make money in our society, then I and we have the duty to exercise our First Amendment right as traditional media and new age digital media analysts to say, no, this ain't it. This is not defamation or invasion of privacy when these machines have pushed this lifestyle on us for profit. This ain't about $4 million. This machine never wanted my money. They wanted to shut down my company in order to protect their assets that glorify this reckless and dangerous lifestyle pushed on us and our children. It was about someone demanding that I respect and give respect to something that has never earned my respect. This is about changing the trajectory of how things have been done in Hollywood for over a century. There are no more gatekeepers, no more red tape, no more waiting to be picked and told what you have to do. If we simply believe in ourselves and our God-given right to live our lives purposeful and don't allow our gifts to die with us, we all hold the key to change. New age digital media such as myself and traditional media, we exercise our First Amendment right to publish our opinions and facts concerning these caricatures of stereotypes pushed in our homes and into our society, and we are just supposed to accept it because there's money on the table? No, absolutely not. This case was meant to drain me financially, and it did not. And send a message to anyone who thinks they have the right to challenge a machine that protects their corporate interests. We knew this case. We knew why this case didn't go our way. Our First Amendment right was intentionally hindered from the moment the case was filed. My company and I have built a platform that has been stamped over and over by traditional media and, most importantly, my viewers, you all. I have broken hundreds of stories on this platform from the moment I started recording videos in my guest bedroom back in 2015 while working at Seasons 52 as a server. I know y'all maybe think this is over, but no, this is just the beginning. I will spend as many years as I can to protect our right to voice our opinions and facts on these images that are sold and pushed on us. The appeal process has already started, and we intend to expose every conspiracy against me, my company, and my family. I was supposed to be destroyed a long time ago, but it did not happen. I am still here. We are still here. This machine tried to squeeze us for everything, but God said otherwise and blessed us with much, much more. We have built this platform video by video from my guest bedroom back in 2015, coupled with the best and most creative eyes and hands in production, my husband, my backbone. And he is the only man that encouraged me to fight this case from the beginning. My case will set a precedent for all future media, and we intend to fight until the truth is out. There was no defamation, no invasion of privacy, and suicidal thoughts, and we proved that with sufficient factual evidence. In court, my lawyers taught me about preserving the record so that it's noted for the future. Well, this is me right now preserving the record. We will fight no matter the cost or length, even if this takes years. I spent 11 years building this platform to serve as a leader in media. Media is a power, fighting machines with endless money protecting their investments. My husband has spent over 20 years working in production. We have over 1 million viewers and hundreds of millions of viewers, and most who have been with us since the very beginning.
Tasha, the talking head, she is just talking. It doesn't matter if it makes any sense. She just said, we have over 1 million viewers and hundreds of millions of viewers.
I love y'all so much for that. Y'all built me, and y'all are the only ones who can take away the viewers. I show my gratitude and appreciation by fighting for this priceless gift you have gifted my family and me, and the right to exercise our freedom of speech as human beings. Kibi Studios is a household name. Unwind with Tasha K is just one of the subsidiaries, and we intend to break out many more. Although the court hasn't instructed us to take the videos down, I've always said that I would comply with any court or jury. The videos have been taken down to show good faith to the courts because I respect the courts. We respect the courts.
People should not use words they don't comprehend, or should at least look them up first. Tasha, you are not creating a precedent. I think you meant precedent. Google it. Okay, so Miss Kibi, if you nasty, says, we respect the court. Do you now? Let's review. You said the judge and the jury were wrong. You said no defamation. The judge and jury said yes, defamation. You said no invasion of privacy. The jury said yes on invasion of privacy. You said she was not suicidal. We proved it with evidence. The judge and jury said yes. They believed that she was suicidal as a result of your cyberbullying. You go on to say, my First Amendment right was hindered as soon as I filed. You do not have a First Amendment right to tell lies on people. So, Miss Kibi, if you're nasty, where's the respect? RESPECT. Suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me. Then she says, Kibi Studios is a household name. And my thought to that was, crack is whack.
Crack is whack. This machine has tried to have me arrested, threatened my life, and created a fake narrative about me. And I want you to ask yourself this. Why does the federal government subpoena my work on this channel if it's fake news? Why do state police departments request my videos for their cases? Why do media sites all over the world quote my work, our work? I want better for this, for us, and I live that better. Everything I represent, marriage, two-parent household, and working for every dime I make without harming the next person to get there. I create videos including humor, and truth to take us out of depression and get our minds off of sickness and financial burdens. And no machine will ever stop me.
It is hard to believe that this lady believes any of the words that come out of her mouth. It's really weird. Like, I don't know. She really is in another reality. She says, I work hard without harming the next person. You spew gossip. You investigate minute details of other people's personal lives, strangers, in fact. You go out of your way to dig up salacious information, things that are very private, and you make them public. How is that not harming? And in this case, you went so far that you actually told lies, repeated lies, doubled down on lies. You took lies viral. And now you're saying that you work hard without harming the next person? There are so many psychological terms that are flowing through my head right now about this lady.
I get your emails daily encouraging me to keep going, and I love y'all so much for that. For accepting me as me. This trial was purely sympathy and payola to protect corporate interests, and we intend to take this all the way to the Supreme Court if need be. This is my life, and I will spend my life fighting for my livelihood and our First Amendment right as human beings. Dozens of major media outlets, the New York Times, Associated Press, Billboard, etc., have requested comments. And I've asked my lawyers to inform you all on our appeal process every step of the way. And I want to thank the winos. And before I go, I saw that there were a few fundraisers that were started under my name. We did not create those, nor do we need those, and nor will we ever create a fundraiser for anything. And with that being said, I want you guys to report them if you see them. We have reported a few, but obviously dozens are popping up to scam under our company. Signing off. Winos, we will be back. We will be back serving exclusive wine this Friday. And with that being said, now I gotta go. Bye.
Enjoying the show? Excellent. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. If you've been blessed by my content and want to buy a goddess some sage or crystals, hit up my PayPal or Cash App. Sharing is caring. Tell your friends about the channel and share this video. The more engagement we have, the better we perform in the algorithm. So let's get those likes up. And don't leave out of here without telling us how you really feel. So drop those comments below. Now, back to the show. In true Tasha K fashion, Tasha K holds a YouTube press conference. Man, you could not tell this lady that she had not made it last night. I am Empress Nandi. Thank you for awakening with me. Let's get into it and break down some things, contemplate some things, and analyze some things regarding this official verdict statement. Off rip, I noticed she doesn't start her statement with, I was wrong. I apologize. I made a mistake. So she can only go downhill from there. Yes, your PR person may have put you in all white, but you are definitely not pristine nor pure in regards to your defamation of Belcalis Marlinez Almanzar. known professionally as Cardi B. This is not to imply that Cardi B is angelic by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying, stop it with the attempted Jedi mind tricks. We see straight through your narcissism. Wearing all white is not going to erase my memory of the vile, nasty, dehumanizing, debasing truth that you admitted over and over in your videos and on the stand before a federal judge. Can I get an Amen Ra? Where is my Amen corner? How do you expect wearing all white to change the fact that in one day on the stand, shout out to lead attorney, counted you lying over 50 times? In the first few seconds of speaking, you have narcissistically turned the tables, and you are now somehow the victim of the machine's conspiracy. Girl, stop. I cannot, in my Jocelyn Hernandez voice. It is evident in the first few seconds of your apology that it is actually a non-apology. Sound familiar? Shout out to Jaguar Wright. Shout out to lead attorney. And the list goes on. It is a statement of no remorse, no accountability, no self-reflection. It is indeed a PR move, strategic, to save face or somehow profit from the L you're taking in front of the world. It is a horrible look, but because your consciousness is residing in an alternate reality, your vision is too cloudy to see. This is a pattern of behavior that I've personally witnessed in your videos and public commentary. I give this lady props for repeating 9th grade 3 times and parlaying that seeming setback into a multi-million-dollar YouTube empire. Enthusiastic, genuine kudos. Queen tings right there. I get so frustrated with this lady because she has a lot of admirable qualities. She's got it out the mud. She has built a successful brand. She's maintained what appears to be a healthy marriage for at least 15 years, and she appears to be an attentive, good mother to her children. Now that we've gotten the pleasantries out of the way, when she gets into that narcissistic zone and tries to destroy people, it's as if a certain spirit takes hold of her and takes over any semblance of logic or compassion. She loses reason at that point. She refuses to take her foot off the gas, even though her husband and Olga are screaming, "Stop! You're about to crash and fall over the ridge." I am an intuitive empath and spiritual teacher. I normally don't cover these types of topics. Yet, it is a grand opportunity for all of us to evaluate our own behavior in the privacy of a space between you and divine. Ask and answer yourself honestly. Do you have some of these tendencies that Miss Kibi has displayed? Let us not forget, this all started with the Star Marie interview in 2018. Do you remember that debacle? Check my channel in a few days. I plan on uploading a video outlining the backstory up until the verdict. This is a landmark case affecting all of social media. I think it's important for us to have an adult conversation, since conversation is clearly being had. This story has gone viral. Tasha K is the sacrificial lamb for us all. Her narcissism and personality traits, her overactive ego, her insatiable desire for success, her holding a grudge so severe that it escalates into a federal defamation lawsuit, her severe overcompensation for the disadvantages of life have all brought us to this place. Are there any instances in your own life where you took shit too far, where you could have resolved the matter by simply apologizing, and you were so angry, so full of resentment, so full of jealousy, so full of determination to get to your destination that you were blinded? Have you ever been so fixated on someone or something that you lost all sense of reasoning, if only for a short while? I don't know how many of y'all are out there lying to yourselves, but I have. In short, Tasha K has done a phenomenal job reinventing herself through the tragedies of childhood. In so many ways, she really is to be commended. Let's keep it a buck. That's not what we're here to talk about today, because it is not the things that are commendable about Tasha K that landed her in federal court for defamation. It is those broken pieces that she's been working so hard to move past that often get suppressed deep, deep, deep into our subconscious. I am honestly doing my best to get through this BS of a statement, this narcissistic rant, this pathological lie, this alternative reality, delusions of grandeur, liar, liar, pants on fire situation. Every few seconds, Tasha is on some straight fuckery, and I have to pause for commentary. Keep your day job, goddess, because acting is definitely not your forte. Not one nanosecond of this statement is authentic or believable. This statement is hitting about as well as Olga's defense. Drops the mic. Let's be clear. There is no conspiracy against Tasha K unless she means me, myself, and I. It is so narcissistic of her to think that she is such a big thing that the machine would plot and scheme to take her down. And we again say delusions of grandeur. Grandiosity is a real symptom that is evaluated for multiple psychiatric disorders as defined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental and Psychiatric Illness. Grandiosity is a condition in which the party has an over-exaggerated sense of importance. This happens a lot during a bipolar or manic episode, but certainly is not limited to this condition. Shout out to Kanye and millions of others with mania and delusions. One often believes they have powers that they actually, factually don't possess. And they think that other people are watching them and other people want to be them, or that other people, often the government, are out to get them. During this period, a person often feels invincible, like they can do anything. It's very grandiose. Tasha has totally flipped the script in this statement. Now, she was the one actually doing the cyberbullying. Bullying a celebrity, no less, because she believes that celebrity will finally get her to 1 million subscribers. And guess what? She was right. It did, but at what cost? Did she properly analyze her benefit to debt ratio before committing to this master clout chasing plan? This lady really thinks she is spinning the narrative for us. She really thinks it's working. This is a sad commentary on the amount of work that is still needed before she can move to the next level. No judgment here, because I am certainly not judging or minimizing the level of financial success that she's manifested. I'm talking about her personal development journey. We all have levels to master. Hold up. Say what? The verdict handed down on Monday was no shock. If you knew that you were going to have to pay 4 million dineros to Cardi B, why didn't you just take the videos down? Make it make sense, Spinmeister. Following her logic, she had a premonition before, a crystal ball, a Miss Cleo moment regarding the outcome of this trial, and she knowingly walked into this scenario prepared to hand over 4 million bones? Is this what you're saying? Because that doesn't make any sense. That sounds dumb. If you wanted to make a $4 million charitable contribution, you could just hit a goddess up. I don't know how I'm going to get through the next 12 minutes of straight BS, but I'm plugging and chugging through it for the peoples. Her personal beliefs. Hold up, wait a minute. Your personal beliefs. Do your personal beliefs include making statements about another woman's hoo-ha? Do your personal beliefs include making statements about this same woman transmitting dis-ease to her newborn child? What personal beliefs are you referring to? Because you told a lot of lies, and lies are different from personal beliefs. Lies, Miss Kibi, if you're nasty, are not protected by the First Amendment. Hell, freedom of speech is no longer protected by the First Amendment, if it ever was. Tasha out here in these streets using the throw everything against the wall and see what sticks defense. Ask Olga how that worked out for you in Atlanta, Fulton County Federal Court this past Monday and Tuesday. It's not going to work in these YouTube streets either. This, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is a classic case of cutting off your nose despite your face. One thing that really gets under my skin is someone insulting my intelligence. This, gods and goddesses, is exactly what Latasha Transrena Kibi is doing. She thinks that she can deflect and make this a personal vendetta into some cause for the people. She resorts to race and sexuality insults when she's angry and wants to lash back. So now it is the poor melanated people that are being crushed by the system. And while that is true, it is true, it has absolutely nothing to do with the matter at hand, which is liar, liar, pants on fire, Pinocchio knows you have to pay the piper. Karma has come to collect your debt, and she will go to the 4 corners of the earth just to settle your bill. This lady is mixing apples and oranges and asking you to make a comparison. She is over here mixing and mastering like DJ Herc. So let's separate these layers she's tossing all together like she's making gumbo. Yes, Cardi is an industry puppet that is used to promote an agenda to demoralize and depopulate the earth. The same can be said for almost everybody in the industry. Let me state for the record, Your Honor, the weaponization of the hip-hop industry and the war against melanin have absolutely nothing, zero, nada, to do with the civil proceedings that just took place between one Tasha K and Cardi B. Focus. You gotta stay focused. Tasha K was on trial for defamation. Really cyberbullying, although that wasn't an official charge. Invasion of privacy was. She was not on trial for anyone withholding her First Amendment. She was not fighting for the melanated nation. She was not exposing the depopulation agenda or everything else she has Sir Mix-allotted and mastered all up and through this situation. The conspiracies of the machine have zero to do with the matter at hand. Unless, of course, she is referring to this conspiracy that she's trying to pull over our eyes, but we're not buying it. She is looking comical and cray-cray out here in these YouTube streets. For the record, Your Honor, Tasha Kibi was actually and factually on trial for telling bold-faced lies, substantial lies, about someone's protected health information. She defamed this lady for the world to see and made her feel, per her testimony in your court, like she was undeserving of her daughter, like she was not worthy of expressing public displays of affection toward her daughter, for fear of being internationally taunted, bullied, and referred to as herpes B, allegedly popularized by Tasha K in her videos that were submitted as evidence and viewed by both judge and jury. According to her sworn testimony, Cardi B presumably, allegedly, lost out on job opportunities because of the viral rumors of her having a sexually transmitted disease. Rumors that have since been disproven with medical records in front of a judge and jury. These rumors were repeated and went viral for clicks and views. I really don't know how this lady can fix her mouth to say her team was prepared for this outcome when they were being admonished by the judge for incorrectly filing forms, missing deadlines, and not understanding the basic operations of his courtroom. Did she say payola? Payola. You are windmilling all over the place. Focus, focus, goddess. What does that narrative have to do with you harassing, slandering, defaming, and publicly shaming this lady? So are you saying, with your thrice 9th grade education, that she paid off the jurors? Because how else would payola be relevant here? So Tasha K, Miss Kibi, if you're nasty, you expect us to believe that you put on your old mighty ISIS cape and you went out here caping for the rest of humanity? Tasha motherfucking K, the superhero, pardon my French, you laid it all on the cross for the rest of us? Is this what you're saying? Oh yeah, you do have several videos where you say, there's God, there's Jesus, and then there's Tasha motherfucking K. Something to that effect. Somebody can correct me in the comments. I have actually heard this lady say this several times. I did my due diligence and tried to go through her endless videos to find some beautiful bean footage. But I just don't have that type of time. Where did she get this speech? Ooh, I know. The same place she found Bargain Basement Olga. Oh my God. I had secondhand embarrassment watching Olga jack up the court proceedings this past year via Zoom. It was deplorable. When I tell you I defended Tasha K more litigiously from my couch. Enjoying the show? Excellent. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. If you've been blessed by my content and want to buy a goddess some sage or crystals, hit up my PayPal or Cash App. Sharing is caring. Tell your friends about the channel and share this video. The more engagement we have, the better we perform in the algorithm. So let's get those likes up. And don't leave out of here without telling us how you really feel. So drop those comments below. Now, back to the show. Olga's expertise in the courtroom has been up for discussion during this trial. Go back and look at my most recent video where the judge in the case snaps on Tasha K's legal team. Atlanta Federal Judge Ray stated before open court, before Tasha K, Cardi B, and the jurors, that Olga et al. Is Latin for and them. You know, like Pookie and them. Olga and them need to go back to the first year of law school. This is where we see once again the evidence of pathological lying. Just lying so much that you believe the lies, that you defend the lies robustly. She is so knee-deep into this alternate reality within which she lives, she might actually pass a lie detector test. Marriage boot camp, it is lie detector day. Her whole team is a hot mess. Sans her husband, who seems to have good sense and who tried to get her to chill, but she didn't listen. Latasha Kibi created, attracted, and manifested this exact moment. She is no victim. Life is a culmination of our choices. Truth is, she was given 3 choices to respond to cease and desist letters. Testimony shows Cardi B reached out to Ms. Kibi attempting to settle this case before it ever reached the court. What was Tasha's response? My lawyers told me I can wipe my ass with your cease and desist. See you in court, biatch. Yeah, that was her response. In last night's egotistical rant, she speaks of someone having her redact the real reason she went after Cardi B. Stop with all the melodramatics. She is the queen of deflection. This is not COINTELPRO. You said under oath that you made the videos to get clicks and views and ultimately revenue. You kept the videos up until last night. Now, in anticipation of being forced to take the videos down, she is feeding us the narrative that she is fully cooperating with the court. She testified with her right hand up to the Lord that her actions regarding Cardi B were because she wanted to get paid off of Cardi's popularity. Allegedly, she was willing to post fake news to this end. Allegedly, she admitted that she doesn't vet many of her stories that she produces. Just like she did not vet the authenticity of the cease and desist letters that she so eloquently said she would wipe her ass with. For Miss Kibi, her obsession with Cardi B was all about them dollar bills, y'all. It was all about clickbait and clout. She repeatedly admitted that she posts fake stories. She vacillated between this admission and claiming to be a journalist, in air quotations. Multiple people who sat directly in court and hand wrote notes, listening to the same judge and the same testimony that Tasha was presented with, all reported the same things without previously conspiring their stories. The star witness in this case was Tasha Kibi herself and her plethora of videos about Cardi B and her hotbox. The judge and the jury were able to hear from the horse's mouth all sorts of vulgarity, defamation, and a clear invasion of privacy. Reportedly, Tasha K said Cardi's song Pressed is about her. Maybe that's another delusion, or maybe she has hit the nail on the head. One thing about reality, what you believe is true becomes true for you. So now, Tasha K finds herself pressed to the tune of about 4 milli. I don't know what she thinks an appeal will do, other than buy her some time to scrape up that 4 million bones. She continues by saying, "This is a real business. I am a mother and a wife of 17 years. I have a 2-parent household. Yet, you allegedly testify that you have not paid taxes for Kibi Studios nor your personal taxes in the past 3 years. Miss, this is a business." The vivid description from inside the courtroom regarding the dynamic between Mr. and Mrs. Kibi really broke my heart. It appeared that what was happening before the court was the demise of a dynamic duo. A duo that together produced a successful melanated family and a lucrative family business. They did this together. In Check's defense, he tried to rein Tasha in regarding Cardi B and her obsession. Per usual, she really only listens to Tasha motherfucking K. Say what? You lost the case due to sympathy and payola? This lady really thinks y'all are fools. She counts on the sleepwalkers to stay comatose. She loves her winos just conscious enough to receive the Tasha K programming and make it go viral. The winos support her delusions. This is a case of your shadow self believing that it is your real self. This is textbook narcissism, egotism, tangentiality, delusions of grandeur, pathological lying, lack of insight and awareness. In all fairness, this bipolar behavior that we keep seeing from Miss Kibi if you're nasty was developed as a defense mechanism while in the fight or flight stage of her traumatic childhood. These coping skills become habits. To break a habit, you must be intentional and you must have developed mental and physical discipline. Sometimes our survival skills become so second nature to us. We're able to function through many obstacles. Sometimes it does make us feel like we're made of Teflon. Sometimes we don't realize that those survival skills are no longer serving us. At times, the behavior is so ingrained, we don't get that eureka moment, that light bulb that goes off within our consciousness, letting us know it is time to shift, to make a change. Sometimes you literally have to be forced to transition. And this is what is happening with Miss Kibi. Let's be clear for the record, Your Honor. Tasha K lost this federal defamation case, not because of payola, not because of sympathy, but because she, in fact, defamed the plaintiff numerous times and left receipts on her website that are still up today. You lost this case because in addition to being the star witness that incriminated yourself on all counts, you hired a lawyer who was ill-prepared, working outside of her field of specialization, Who does that? The judge held Law School 101 in the middle of the proceedings to keep your lawyers from sinking like the Titanic. Yet, you fix your mouth to lie to the public. You want us to believe you were a victim of Cardi B's sympathy and payola. Really, Tasha? Where are the harpsichords and violins? Cry me a friggin' river. You approach this trial the same way you approach your journalism, in air quotations, half-ass. You might be liable for $3,888,753, but you are also guilty of incriminating yourself on tape and not reading the room. Ego, edging God out. I think all of this could have been resolved if you would have simply humbled yourself and took down the damn videos. This lady told you I do not have herpes. She appealed to your motherhood. She appealed to you as a wife, as a businesswoman. She appealed to your alleged love for your culture. She sent you 3 cease and desist, and we still don't know the phantom lawyer who told you to wipe your ass with the cease and desist. How's that working for you? Lead attorney actually counted during one court session how many times Tasha allegedly lied. He said, I stopped counting at 51. Dennis Byron, who represents Hip Hop Inquirer, reported that Tasha was caught in a lie at least 30 times during her testimony. It was reported that she flat out said under oath that her husband was lying. She said this numerous times and put him in a position where he had to actually say, at least on a couple of occasions, that she was lying too. Her YouTube press conference last night was so ironic. She has a pattern. She announced a Jaguar right apology, then proceeded to drag her for the entire time. Oh, but she wasn't finished. She then doubled down. This lady packed her bags, got on an airplane or two, and interviewed Jaguar Wright's family, her son, her ex-husband. Man, there are a couple of psychiatric terms that I'm thinking of right now that are very appropriate, but I'm going to refrain from throwing them out into the ether. One starts with an S, the other with a P. And then she has the audacity to post last night that nobody lied in court. Obviously, she wants the court to believe that she's insane, and I think it's working. Nobody lied about anything. Yet, Judge Ray actually interrupted the trial to clarify some of Tasha's perjury moments. Judge Ray points out to Kibi that she's answered the same question in opposing ways. The judge literally has to say to her, in the deposition you said this, and today you're saying that. Which one is it? Do you understand what perjury is? Let me define it. Transrena. It's the unmitigated gall and selective amnesia for me. There is an actual transcript documenting all the times you were caught lying in court. Now you turn around and say there are no lies told? Typical Tasha. The prosecution didn't even need the over 1,000 exhibits they prepared. Why? Because Tasha motherfucking K and her narcissism continued to incriminate her. She needed no further assistance from anyone else. The jurors watched hours and hours of Tasha K videos, with her veins popping out of her neck, foaming at the mouth, spewing vile vulgarity, and proud of it. Some jurors were reportedly so disgusted that they were holding their stomachs or holding their chests, appalled at what they were witnessing and hearing. But last night, she can't wait for y'all to read the transcript. This chick is gaslighting. Tasha is giving caricature tease. We are not falling for the okie doke. You're trying to make us believe the sky is not blue when we're clearly looking at a blue sky. You are not the illusionist that you perceive yourself to be. She was scheduled to apologize to the lead attorney. I don't know why she picked on the lead. He's so respectful. He made a video covering her trial. He didn't even say anything bad about her. And she went in on him. She said, I'm on a nigga's head. And she tried to dox him. It was a really deplorable, tacky display. He was so chill about it. But during this trial, he took his fine ass down to the courtroom, 6'3", about 230, and looked Tasha straight in her eyes. Oh, bless her heart. She needed his ass to defend her. He would have did a better job than Olga, that's for sure. His apology at least went a little better than Jag's. He didn't get a 2 or 3 part documentary. She called him the white woman whisperer and the gossiping attorney, among other things. But he's been really fair to her during this coverage. So last night, I'm thinking maybe she's learned some kind of lesson. We'll get a humble Tasha. Ha ha! She doubled down per usual. So I had to do some research last night, was looking for some Bean footage. I had to go over to her channel. I literally watched her subscribers drop below 1 million. She was at 999K when I was doing my research. At the time of me recording this audio, she has dropped further to 995K. All because she is refusing to take accountability for her actions. She's out here trying to spin this story instead of just being authentic and simply speaking truth. The way she's responding to the Cardi verdict, that's her modus operandi. Whenever things don't go her way. Example given. At the onset of the trial, Tasha manipulated her minions into spinning a favorable tale in regard to Cardi's medical records. In reality, Cardi B's negative medical results were submitted to the court last year. Maybe it was the HPV result. Even if we assume the latter, both results were negative. So how is that a win for her team? The Spin Meister. Shout out to Sweet Pea Diaries for her very thorough coverage of this trial. Following Sweet Pea's coverage, I was able to see real receipts from the legal portal containing the actual court documents. At this point, I was also aware that Cardi wasn't the lady in the video with the beer bottle either. The infamous video where Cardi alleges to DRUG and robbing her clients was said to be a skit, if memory serves me correctly. Apparently, skits helped grow her social media platform. The judge gave Tasha free game last year when he advised her to settle the case. The only word that fits is delusional. It wasn't me. Shout out to Shaggy. Miss Kibi, we even caught you on camera. It wasn't me. Tasha wants your eyes to play tricks on you. You don't see what you think you see. Tasha says, I have the gift of persuasion. By the time I get finished, you're going to see what I want you to see. I'm Tasha motherfucking K. Capping and caping for the Melanin Nation. The machine has a conspiracy against me. Shout out to In Living Color. Her strategy is to distract and deflect. She sprinkles a little bit of truth within a whole bunch of lies. This agenda that she's speaking of is real. It has absolutely nothing to do with the defamation, invasion of privacy, and intentional charges that she was found guilty of. This lady is special. The look on her face, her demeanor, those eyes. She has visions of Emmys dancing through her head. And the Emmy for last night's performance goes to, drum roll please. All right, so let me get this straight. The machine, out of all of the 7 billion people on the planet, decided that little bitty Latasha Kibi, with her 1 million subscribers, well, 995K now, was the appropriate and efficient target to move out of the way so the machine could continue to snatch the souls of our children. Is this what you're saying? She really thinks quite large of herself. She is comparing apples and oranges. The agenda celebrities are used to promote is real, but what does that have to do with making up salacious stories about this lady and doing everything in your power to make them go viral, to the point where you've affected her money, her mental health, her marriage, according to the court testimony? I see what you did there, Miss Kibi, if you're nasty. You tried to insinuate the Me Too movement, part of your everything in the kitchen sink defense. The problem is none of your stories are sticking. Remember, we've got that little infrared light to detect all the viruses, germs, and fungi. My infrared light is beeping uncontrollably. Beep, 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 beep. Tasha says she'll take as many years as necessary to expose the conspiracies against her and her family. She'll go to the Supreme Court if she has to. Girl, you are not Dr. Sebi. What you exposed is that you have some unfinished business with the IRS. They were sitting front row and center taking notes. Girl, shut up. Go sit in the corner, woosah and meditate and whatnot. Yes, Tasha, you are correct. Your case will and has set a precedent. This precedent was set for you, by you, and your weaponization of your YouTube platform. Tasha said last night, I've always said I will comply with any court or jury. But what she actually said on those incriminating tapes is that I ain't taking down shit till the white people tell me to. And even then, I'm going to find a way to still monetize Cardi B. I'm paraphrasing, and let me say allegedly all up and through here. I am expressing my opinion. I am analyzing the data as it's been presented, and we are just having an educational dialogue. She is so arrogant that she walked into federal court with all the videos still up for public consumption and revenue. Gang, gang. Tasha had on her almighty ISIS cape. She said, I give 0 fucks. I'm Tasha motherfucking K. What can you do? I was sitting here flabbergasted, like discombobulated, just trying to follow this lady's logic or lack thereof. She said that ish out loud in court, in front of the jury and the judge. I digress. You could tell that this part of the video was the piece de resistance. Her demeanor shifted. She dug deeper into her acting skills as she made the point that if she produces fake news, why are media outlets, the FBI, and the local police departments requesting her material? Oh, I got him now. I've got him against the ropes now. The Thriller in Manila. They don't have no comeback for that. Well, Tasha, we already know that media outlets tell a vision to mass indoctrinate and brainwash the sheeple. Your salacious non-facts mixed in with a tiny bit of truth is perfect for their needs, so you can miss me with that whole line of non-reasoning. The Melanin Nation already knows what time it is. These alphabet agencies were founded on and are notorious for planting evidence, setting up our most influential leaders, and annihilating melanin people right in the middle of the street on public display, reminiscent of the not-so-good old Confederate days. The more I talk, the more I analyze this foolishness. It is looking and feeling more and more like an initiation or a ritual. Truth is, while you are being brainwashed to believe that your indigenous spirituality is demonic and witchcraft, these alphabet agencies, the machine, they are performing their own witchcraft and trickery on you and on the public. Evidence is planted, stories are faked, just like the information you spew. She is really emulating the man, the system, the machine she keeps referring to, putting out salacious information to create stress and fear, weakening the immune system, distracting your mind, having you caught up in the smoke and mirrors of the matrix. Don't fall for the okie doke. Open your third eye. Wow, just wow. So now you're trying to say you represent the wholesome two-parent Aboriginal family. All that vulgarity on display for the jury and the judge, hours and hours and hours of cringeworthy material, yet you expect us to believe that you are the representative of a wholesome Aboriginal family. Tasha is our hero, caping and capping for her community. Tasha K is so important to humanity. I am definitely, actually, and factually being facetious when I say this. Her and her team barely survived Cardi B. How in the world does she think? Never mind. Oh my God, this is straight out of a movie. She is playing the role of a news anchor, the way she's turning her script pages. She really thinks she's at a press conference. She is trying to get her Wendy Williams on, you hear me? And get this, now she's talking about, I took the videos down because I trust the court. But they were up during the verdict. And now she wants to give some semblance of transparency? Really? I'll wait for the transcripts. What I'm trying to get my head around is the 21,000 people who upvoted this BS. It must have been a gathering of Narcissist Anonymous up in here. On a serious note, this is a moment of spiritual testing for Tasha K. Favor has obviously been with her, assisting in creating her YouTube empire against all odds. How can I just let you walk away? Just let you leave without a trace. When I stand here taking every breath with you. Ooh. Shout out to Phil Collins. Temptation was placed before her like Eve in the Garden of Eden. She had options. We always have options, no matter what fallacy we tell ourselves when we make dumb decisions. Let's make a deal, Tasha K. Behind door number 1, you can grow your channel organically and slower. Or behind door number 2, you can defame, slander, lie, and clickbait, clout chase your way to 1 million subscribers. It's pretty clear what choice she made. Before every graduation, there is a test. Remember this. We all have spiritual testing, and we don't always pass the test the first time. You cannot cheat on this test, Tasha Kibi. So if you want to move to the next level, you can't go around or run under it or behind it. You have to walk through the fire. You have to actually transform into a higher vibrational frequency. You have to demonstrate to the divine that you are ready and equipped, that you have purified your ego enough to graduate to the next level and hold yourself accountable when you get there. My advice is simple. Truth is always simple. Truth is always transparent and truth is free. Can I get an amen? To transform this L into a W, to redeem yourself from public humiliation, you must ask for forgiveness. You must acknowledge your wrongdoing. You must put yourself on the mercy of righteousness. You must take accountability for your misstep. That is it, and that is all. If you do, what looks like your downfall will become your stepping stool. Oh, I'm up here preaching this evening. Show us who you really are, Tasha motherfucking K. Turn this test into your most powerful testimony. Humble yourself. Show us your humanity. Show us your humility, and you will again be supported. Everyone can relate to a story of transmutation, transconfiguration, or transformation. Stop with the gimmicks. We don't want to see your philanthropic efforts at the most convenient time. It's an obvious PR move, and it is not moving the barometer on how the public feels about you. Everything you do moving forward has to be from a place of authenticity. Quite frankly, you may require a lot more than counseling before you're ready to present the authentic you. We will know the authentic you when we see you holding yourself accountable, point blank and period. When an apology is actually an apology, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I misspoke. I didn't do my due diligence. I'm remorseful. I feel horrible that this has affected you this way. Please forgive me. I'll put real effort into changing my consciousness and changing my actions. Now that's an apology. No buts, no excuses, no turning the tables. Asking for forgiveness is the most powerful thing that Tasha can do right now. The act of forgiveness is so powerful, it affects your Akashic record. Forgiveness is a virtue exchange between you and the person you've trespassed against, and the virtue bank, God, the source, I am, the Most High. Divine is the virtue bank, so you have to go before the omnipotent one and plead your situation and ask, can I borrow some virtue from you so I can transfer it to this person that I made a mistake with? I desire to balance the scales. This balancing or paying it forward has to be done. You can't skirt around it if you want to continue to climb the hierarchy of greatness. I'm going to say this, and I know you're not going to like it. It is truth serum, and truth serum is bitter. But remember, it is the bitters that heal and cleanse us. We all need more bitters in our diet. Please do not make any decisions from your emotions. This has proven to be your downfall. When you need to make decisions, sit quiet and still until you get clarity. You have to become master over your emotions. Look where your emotions have led you to thus far. No bueno, chica. You are a slave to your emotions. You are so committed and married to being emotional and reactionary. So much so that you're willing to destroy everything you've been blessed with. Let's take this opportunity to hold you accountable. But at the same time, let's hold ourselves accountable for the shortcomings in our own lives. And let's be more compassionate than she was regarding Cardi B. Two wrongs don't make a right. Let us raise the bar. Let's show our humanity. We're all going to continue to talk about this, but let's do so in a way that has some compassion, because after all, Tasha is still our sister, meaning she is a part of the collective consciousness, as are we all. We are grown and sexy up in here. We take accountability for our actions, and we apologize and acknowledge when we misstep, hurt, or harm another. I don't know about you, but I will definitely be taking these lessons learned and applying them to my own relationships and my own sense of self. The takeaway lesson here: let us focus on creating a path of light within the darkness. For those of you who may be new to the channel, I am Empress Nandi, ordained metaphysician, certified angel therapist, soul healer and teacher, and intuitive. As always, it is my honor and privilege to serve you. Drop your comments below. Let's get this conversation started. Oh, peace. Amen Ra.
Olga, can I get a comment for you today?
Just give a wave to the winos, Tasha K. Just give a wave to the winos. They said you won't speak, Tasha K. Say hi to the winos.
Hey, is it true that you threw your wife under the bus?
Ain't nobody will catch me on divine energy. Don't you think my shots sexy, my chakras bling bling. Ain't nobody will catch me, my third eye clearly sees. And we are the wokest motherships upon the planet. No feathers falling, ain't no need to panic. My frequency's electromagnetic. Blessed to have the stars see genetics. We are the wokest motherships upon the planet. No feathers falling, ain't no need to panic. My frequency's electromagnetic. Blessed to have the stars see genetics.